So how does it all look? Is my hair good? It's all
I didn't know a lot about him.
Well, that's just not true. I'm not sure exactly what the outcome will be, but definitely.
There are stories that stay quietly in the background for many years, almost like faraway thunder you can hear but cannot see. And then one day, the storm finally happens. That is exactly what happened when Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman at the center of the Epstein empire, started talking from prison walls and mentioned a name the world did not expect. Meghan Markle, not just as someone watching, not as an outsider, but as someone who, according to Maxwell herself, was much closer to the heart of Epstein's circle than anyone thought. For years, people believed Meghan's story started when she met Prince Harry in 2016. But Maxwell's words suggest something deeper, older, and much more troubling. A trail of hidden testimony, secret meetings, and a past someone wanted erased. This is not tabloid talk. This is not internet gossip. This is the part of the story that was locked in sealed files, whispered in courtrooms, and hidden under classified labels. And today, that story starts to come out. To understand the truth behind Meghan's sudden rise, her unexpected entry into royal life, and why her name appears in a case with some of the world's most powerful people, we have to start at the point where everything was first erased, with the missing hours. When Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony was made public, people expected a flood of secrets, names, events, dates, the kind of information that could shock governments and families. But instead, the world got a document that looked like it had been crossed out with a black marker. Whole paragraphs, pages, conversations were gone. In fact, over 12 hours of Maxwell's spoken testimony never saw the light at all. 12 hours. Think about that. That is longer than a normal school day, longer than most people sleep at night. And every single minute of it is sealed away. Sources close to the court papers suggest these were not random. These were careful removals. Details so sensitive, so explosive, someone decided the safest choice was to hide them. And here is where the story becomes shocking. In those missing hours, the hours that disappeared into locked legal vaults, Meghan Markle's name reportedly appeared not just by chance, not as a rumor, but connected to events, people, and circles that are now central to this scandal. Before Meghan ever met Harry, before she became a duchess, before she stood on Buckingham Palace balcony, her name was allegedly in testimony the world was not supposed to hear. This is where the trail starts, and it leads directly to the next part. The moment Meghan was almost brought into court herself. Long before the royal wedding, before Oprah interviews and Netflix deals, Meghan Markle's name appeared in a place no one expected. Witness lists for Virginia Roberts. Virginia, one of the main figures in the Epstein case, reportedly asked for Meghan Markle as a witness. Why? Because Meghan, according to her, knew certain people, especially Andrew, before Meghan joined the royal family. This request did not come from gossip. It came from a woman whose testimony helped expose one of the largest criminal networks in modern history. If Virginia thought Meghan had information, it means Meghan was closer to Andrew's world than anyone admitted publicly. Sources say Virginia didn't ask for Meghan because she was famous. She asked for her because Meghan had allegedly been in social places where Andrew, Maxwell, and others were behind closed doors. For lawyers, this was a nightmare. Calling Meghan as a witness would have exposed her background, her connections, and early links under the strongest spotlight possible. But it never happened. Someone made sure that door stayed shut. And now comes one of the most disturbing claims. Ghislaine Maxwell's personal words about who Meghan used to be and the name she allegedly had. According to Maxwell from prison, Meghan Markle was called a different name when she was younger. Flower. Not a stage name, not a character, but a name used in adult entertainment spaces and private social circles far from Hollywood lights. Maxwell says she knew Meghan, not in a polite, distant way celebrities say they know each other, but in a way that suggests they shared worlds long before Meghan wanted British royalty. The nickname Flower was used among certain guests, entertainers, and contacts connected to Epstein. It was whispered in back rooms, on guest lists, among people whose lives were hidden behind luxury and secrecy. For a young girl dreaming of fame, this world might have seemed exciting or powerful, but Maxwell says it was far from safe. And what worries investigators is not the nickname, but what it means. Meghan was not new to that world. She had a presence there and moved through circles that later connected to Andrew, Fergie, and others linked to the scandal. If this is true, it changes everything. It means Meghan did not accidentally enter the royal world. She didn't come to Buckingham Palace from the outside. She entered it from the shadows of a world the monarchy has tried to hide. To see how Meghan's path crossed into royal life before Harry, we need to look at private invitations, royal boxes, and quiet hallways where titles matter less than connections. According to multiple sources from that time, Meghan was not new to the orbit around Andrew, not as a friend, not as a guest, but as someone on the edges of exclusive gatherings. In the early 2000s and early 2010s, Prince Andrew often went to events with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, dinners, charity galas, private parties. These were not places ordinary people walked into. Everyone was chosen or connected to someone powerful. And in these quiet corners, Meghan allegedly appeared. She wasn't a duchess yet. She wasn't a famous name yet. But she was an actress trying to rise, moving in a world where introductions mattered more than resumes. This is not about her having a romance with Andrew. This is about being close enough to see the people, the atmosphere, the unspoken rules of the room. Sources say Meghan met people who moved between Hollywood, New York, and royal circles. And she also interacted with people tied to Andrew and Maxwell. It was not front-page news. It was not even a note. It was a quiet presence in the background, one that would matter later when Virginia Roberts asked for Meghan as a witness. Because those early meetings meant Meghan saw more, heard more, and knew more than the public imagined. And if Andrew was the doorway to these circles, someone else stood beside him, someone who knew Meghan longer than any royal admitted. Every big story has a hidden character. Someone behind the scenes pulling strings while the world watches the wrong people. In this story, that person is Sarah Fergie, known as Fergie. Andrew's ex-wife has always been linked to the royal family through kids, money, and scandal. But insiders say Fergie played a bigger role in Meghan's early closeness to the royal circle than most people know. For years, people thought Meghan and Fergie only met before the royal wedding. A nice story. But sources claim Fergie knew Meghan long before the engagement. She was at many of the same exclusive events where Meghan appeared. She was close with Epstein and Maxwell during their peak influence. She moved in the same guest lists, yacht parties, and quiet rooms where secrets traveled faster than champagne. Some reports even say Fergie competed with Maxwell, seeking influence with wealthy, powerful men. This is not about jealousy, it is about access. Fergie knew the value of being near powerful people, and Meghan was a young actress with ambition, willing to be in the rooms where her career could change. But there is another layer. Some say Fergie later blocked Meghan from getting close to Andrew once Meghan's fame rose. Whether for protection or rivalry, no one knows. But it is clear, Fergie knew Meghan. Fergie had seen Meghan's world. Fergie understood her connections before the royal family even knew her name. And this leads to the night everything changed. The night Meghan met Harry in a way that looked random, but may not have been. If the Epstein circle was a dark ocean under the waves, Soho House was the shining boat above. Exclusive, glamorous, always with the right people. At the center was a man named Ron Burkle, a billionaire with connections from Hollywood to politics to Maxwell's social world. Soho House was more than a club. It was a networking machine. It moved careers, polished reputations, and connected rising stars to elite circles quickly. And this is where Meghan's story changes sharply. In April 2015, Soho House opened a new location in Istanbul. It wasn't just a party, it was a gathering of people with money, charm, and power. Both Prince Harry and Prince Charles were there, and Meghan Markle was there. Some say a friend invited her, others say Berkel arranged introductions, but everyone agrees Meghan meeting Harry was not random. It was perfect. Music, lights, glamorous crowd. A moment made by the setting. Within a year, Meghan changed from actress to humanitarian, from Hollywood hopeful to global figure, from flower to future duchess. Many wondered who helped her rise, who opened doors, who guided her, because people do not rise so fast without help. Sources inside the weekend say the help may not have been just Soho House. It may have been older, stronger networks Maxwell mentioned before her pages were blacked out. When asked why Meghan's name is in redacted files,
the answer may not be about Meghan. Multiple sources say the redactions protect people who put her in those circles. Powerful men, donors, international financiers, names from Hollywood, New York, London, and royal networks. If Meghan was in these worlds even briefly, she may have seen or heard things that could embarrass people higher up. And this is where tension grows. Insiders say Meghan remembers connections and conversations that are dangerous in the wrong hands, not because she wanted them, but because she was there. She saw faces, heard whispers, understood the rules. The redactions did not hide her name because she is a threat. They hid it because she is a witness. Witnesses, especially future duchesses, must be controlled and managed. In this view, Meghan's rise was not a fairy tale. It was a placement, an arrangement, a strategy to move her away from her old world. But when someone rises fast, another force rises to meet them, a force to protect the monarchy from everything linked to Epstein. Inside the royal family, silence is the rule, discipline is the way, and reputation is everything. This is why the tension between William and Harry is not sibling rivalry. It is about protection. Sources say Prince William made a clear rule. He will not allow Meghan back into the royal inner circle. Not because of public arguments, not because of media, but because her past, hidden rooms, powerful circles, and redacted hours carry a storm he refuses near the monarchy. The clash became visible when Andrew tried to attend a church at Balmoral. William confronted it. Either he comes or I come, and Andrew left. This shows something important. William will no longer allow remnants of the Epstein-connected world. Not Andrew, not Fergie, not anyone from that social web. To William, Meghan is not just an outsider. She knows too much about circles the monarchy once erased. He is not fighting Harry. He is fighting the history Harry married into. But no shadow is darker or more symbolic than where Meghan's journey allegedly started. A place whispered about, never spoken publicly, but remembered by those there. Every story has a start, a moment that seems small at first, a warm night, quiet waves, glittering lights. But later, that moment explains everything. For Meghan, it is said to have started on a yacht. Not a cruise, not a holiday, but an elite, invitation-only gathering where powerful men, secret deals, and unspoken rules mixed under the night. It was on one of these yachts, sources say, that Meghan first entered the world she would later be said to know too well, a world where introductions changed destinies. Appearances mattered, favors were quietly exchanged, young women were noticed, tested, and placed. Imagine it. Soft music, expensive perfume, clinking glasses, and the young actress floundering under golden lights, not knowing every face that night would shape her future. From that moment, Meghan was no longer just an actress. She was someone powerful people noticed, someone they watched, someone quietly moved from one circle to another. And years later, when she met Harry, she was not a stranger.
She had already seen the world he grew up protected from. That is why redactions matter. That is why Virginia Roberts wanted her as a witness. That is why Maxwell's words shock. And that is why the royal family is now divided. Meghan Markle is not dangerous for what she did. She is dangerous for what she knows. And as more voices speak from prisons, courts, and sealed files, the storm that started on that yacht rises again. The question now is not if Meghan's past will come out. The question is how much more the world is ready to hear.